Good, how are you getting on?
Very good. Good to talk to you. Thanks for your time. Just a word on, obviously, you're entering a crucial 2 week block in terms of the championship itself and the ongoing work within the squad. What way do you divide the focus in terms of, is it largely the performance in the table and securing as good a Six Nations finish as possible, or is it as much on looking at those areas that you're looking to constantly improve upon, or perhaps where you've not fully reached the heights tactically that you might have wanted of yourselves?
No, I think we're definitely feeling that we've um, bigger picture things in terms of placing in the tournament hasn't come to light this week at all. I'm not just saying that, it hasn't. Um, just concentrating on our previous performance, what we can do better from that, what else we're going to get from the opposition, what difference of style of play we're going to get from them, and that'll vary massively over the next 2 weeks. So we have to kind of take it cliche game by game, if you like. So this week we've had a really good week's prep. Good couple of big training days, and we're looking forward to getting into them at the weekend.
What are the particular areas then that Scotland's the threats they pose that perhaps differ from what it is you've experienced so far over the opening couple of rounds?
Well, I think they have a massive counter-attack threat. They have substantial breakdown threats as well. So from those two areas, just two of the areas that we've looked at and worked on. We need to be making sure that when we do turn over the ball, players like Finn Russell and Hogg, those guys, we all know them because they're so good at it. We need to make sure that we're shutting those guys down early, making sure that they don't get a lifeline into the game through that, and breakdown threats as well. They've got guys who can poach the whole way through their pack and backline too, so their turnover threats are going to be huge for us. Again, that'll negate their counter-attack game, but we need to be making sure that we're real nailed on in our breakdown area there, especially in attack.
Thanks, Iain.
Obviously, Scotland haven't played. They didn't play in a game in round 3, and it's hard to say, what's the better argument in terms of who's better coming into this game. So do you feel that you're at an advantage having had that game, that you played that game against Italy?
It's difficult to weigh up those two arguments because I've been in a scenario before where we haven't played in a number of weeks and you feel very fresh going into it, but then sometimes in the back of your mind it crawls in. Flip, is my conditioning up to standard here? However, I feel like we're in a good position personally. In the shoes I'm sitting at the minute, I would have preferred to play 2 weeks ago. I'm glad that we did. A good few of our guys did get back and play for their individual teams. So conditioning mightn't be at the forefront of their minds, but a bit of the team closeness or how connected they will definitely, hopefully, be playing on their minds.
You've really bullied the Scottish pack in previous games before. Is that route you'll go down this time, or do you think that their pack has improved?
I think probably the reason that it's appeared to be like that in previous games is because we know how dangerous a pack the Scotland have. They can be incredibly difficult to play against when they get front foot ball, when they're dominating collisions. So probably the reason why in games it looks like we're really dominating them, or we have dominated them in the past, is because we know that if you give them an inch, they will walk all over you. We've seen in other games they've played that they can be as physical a team as anyone. So we've got to negate that as best possible. And I feel in those performances you're talking about, that's how we started the game, and that's how we went on and how we won those games.
Jacob Stockdale back again after knee injury and having been to roster for a couple of weeks there. Was he brought back to things?
Yeah, Jacob's slipped back in there, and he's been real good all week, trained well. I feel he's going well. He's adding the environment down here. He was chatting after training there to the group, feeling the stress at which the team who were playing were putting him under personally. So it's great to have him back down here. It's great to see him back involved. I think fingers crossed we'll be seeing him more over the coming weeks. So he's glad to be back after that frustrating injury for him.
The Lions came up yesterday. I'm sure you'll not really want to get into huge detail about it. Is that something you're trying to block out? And I suppose for you personally, having made a big impression in the Six Nations game last time round, to get your place in the Lions tour, big are the next couple of games for you and everyone?
Yeah, I think probably over the last year, everyone going forward, whether it be if you go back to last summer, the summer tour or the Autumn Nations Cup, what it turned out to be, loads of clubs having games cancelled. Everyone is kind of in a real mindset now that looking forward, that things have a huge level of uncertainty. With all those things that we've been uncertain about, I think guys are pretty well versed in trying to block things out in the future and concentrating and knowing that not only with rugby, if you don't perform, you mightn't have extra games, but complete uncontrollables, you mightn't have extra games down the line too. So that is helping guys, I would imagine, get over that sort of being spooked by Lions selection, but it hasn't really been raised in camp. It hasn't been spoken about that much amongst players, but it'll be an exciting time for a lot of players who'll be hoping to get on Lions for the first time.
Hi Ian, hope you're well. Just wondered about, I know it's been talked about a lot this campaign about the quiet men of Ireland starting to find their voice again. I know Johnny talked about that. Do you feel that you have found your voice more in this campaign than any other? Obviously the captaincy came this campaign, but do you feel that you have more of a voice now within the side?
Hi Ruth. Yeah, I think what Faz has done, he's asked guys to be more vocal. He's asked everyone to be more themselves. He wants people to talk more. He's making an environment where it's more possible for guys to find their voice, and I think in doing that, naturally, there's been a lot of people have come to the forefront in sort of their leadership skills, if you like. I think he's really nurtured that environment for that to happen, and every campaign and weeks in the campaign, you see it progressing more, and it's good to see. You see guys sharing each other's knowledge, so that for the good of the team, if you like, so that everyone else is getting better, and I think that maybe before guys mightn't have pitched up and given their insights, but we're in such an intense environment, and everyone in this environment is so skilled at what they do that we need to be feeding off each other. So it's great to see the management creating this environment where we can do that, and I think Andy Farrell's done an excellent job with that.
And just on one of the other coaches, Paul O'Connell, what have you learned from him over these last few weeks?
Yeah, Paulie's come in. Obviously, I played a good bit with Paulie and knew what he was like. And from a player to a coach, he hasn't really changed a huge amount. Still massive in his detail and his intent that he wants everyone to bring to everything. And obviously, he gets everyone behind him. I think that's something that he's really brought in. He's, as I've said before, he's really highlighting things that we might have been letting slip. Making sure that guys are keeping up to standards, whether that could be with line out or breakdown or even around the place. And it's something that when you've been in the environment like we had for a few campaigns, it's easy for things to go by the wayside, and a fresh set of eyes coming in, he's really lifted everyone up in terms of those sort of standards. So it's great to have him in for that, and I think everyone who's in here would agree that they've seen the impact.
Thanks, Ian. Have a good week.
Hi, you started alongside James Ryan in Rome, and obviously it was Ty Byrne you were alongside against Wales and France. Does your role change much depending on who's beside you in the second row? And can I just ask you to maybe compare and contrast the different strengths that Ty and James bring?
Personally, no, I don't think my role changes massively. There's obviously the game against France. I was captain, so maybe a slight variation in role there in terms of a slight variation in leadership, I suppose. To compare and contrast them, I suppose it's difficult to kind of just pull something out of nowhere, but Tag obviously plays a lot more like a 6, whereas James will play a lot more like a second row, like a good hard-working but yet still incredibly dynamic second row. We've seen obviously Tag playing in the back row numerous times, and does an incredible job. But I enjoy playing with both of them on the field at once. To be honest, I think they complement each other very well in terms of having working well in the defensive line together. Even to have them both in the attacking line out is very beneficial. But also around the park, playing in that sort of a 6 role, the kind of, not the cheese isn't athletic, the faster, wider channels, more athletic, sort of block if you like, and then cheese in the other version.